So good morning, everybody. In this video, we're actually going to answer two focus questions. And what we're going to do is they're very similar, so make sure that you hit pause and that you read the difference between the two of them. But we're first going to figure out how can we write fractions greater than 1 as mixed numbers, and how do we write mixed numbers as fractions greater than 1. So again, very similar. But first off, we want to figure out exactly what this vocabulary word means, mixed number. So a mixed number is actually made up of a whole number and a fraction together, okay? And in order to get mixed numbers or find out what a mixed number is, we can use multiplication and addition to rename a mixed number as a fraction greater than 1, okay? So, for example, if I have these circles right here, that's my whole. So I have 1, 2, 3 here. All right, so let's say that's half a circle. So really what I have here is I have 3 wholes, okay? And right here I have half of that whole, okay? So when you put these together, I have 3 and 1/2. And that is what a mixed number is, everybody. We call mixed numbers fractions greater than 1 because usually we're used to dealing with a fraction like 1/2, and we know that 1/2 is less than 1 whole, okay? It's less than. But all of a sudden, if we make it a mixed number, we know that this fraction is greater than 1 because it's actually 3 wholes and 1/2 of a whole, which makes it 3 1/2, okay? And you say those things all the time, but this is how we put it in math words using math vocabulary. Now, what we're going to do next is we're actually going to figure out how do we identify them and how do we convert these mixed numbers into fractions greater than 1. So for our model problem, we're going to use 3 1/2 as our example, all right, so that you can use your organizer and you can follow along. But what happens here is that you sometimes will see in your classwork and in your addition that you will get a problem, or you'll get a sum of 7/2. And you'll look at 7/2 or 7/2 and you'll say, doesn't look right, doesn't really make sense, but we're going to make sense of it right now. This is our fraction greater than 1, 7/2, okay? And our goal is not to leave it as 7/2. Our goal is to make it into a mixed number, right? And I know that this right here, that this bar, okay, this fraction bar we talked about early on in this unit is actually a division symbol. And that's what this whole fraction represents, is a division problem. And so a lot of these conversions can be done using mental math and can be done in your head, but I want to show you visually what it looks like. So a lot of times this right here actually will be 7, okay, as my dividend, and 2 is my divisor, and it's actually just a simple addition problem. And I can think in my head, all right, well, 2 goes into 7 about 3 times, okay, and I know I'll have 1 left over because 3 times 2 is 6, and so my remainder, okay, is 1. Now, what you're going to look at is you want to take this remainder, okay, and put it up here, right? And then take your divisor, 2, and place it right below the 1. So you're actually looking at 3 1/2. So if you notice, your denominator here and your denominator here, which are both 2, those will always stay the same. So now what you're going to look at is 7/2, okay, actually equals 3 1/2. So that's how we convert a fraction greater than 1, right here, into a mixed number. Okay, so this right here is a, say, call it a frac, right, greater than 1, and over here we have a mixed number. Okay, so that's how we convert them. Now we can actually go the opposite way. Now let's say that we want to actually go from a mixed number to a fraction greater than 1, and we'll again use 3 and on here, we'll use 3 and 1/2, okay, as my mixed number, okay, and I actually want to make a fraction greater than 1, and we'll put that fraction greater than 1 over in this space, okay. Now, here's how we do that. Change the color here, and so you can see the difference. Now I'm going to use multiplication. I used division to get a mixed number, and now I'm going to use multiplication to work backwards because we know that those are inverse operations. Nice job. I'm glad that rolled right off your tongue. Now I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to multiply it by 3. And I know that, that is 6, okay? So I multiplied 2 times 3. And then I'm going to take 6 and I'm going to add it to my numerator. Okay, so I multiplied at the bottom and I added the top. And I know that 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And my denominator right here, 2, will simply stay the same. So that's how I've gotten now to a fraction greater than 1. So for practice problem 1, what I'd like you to do is to convert the fraction greater than 1 8/3 into a mixed number. And I would like you to convert the mixed number 2 1/2 into a fraction greater than 1. So try it on your own, hit the pause button, and when you come back, you'll see the solution. So welcome back, and what you can see is that 8/3 is actually equivalent, or as a mixed number, it is now 2 2/3. And for 2 1/2, when you convert it into a fraction greater than 1, or what sometimes you'll hear at home as an improper fraction, is 5/2. Now, practice problem 2, I'd like you to convert these two fractions, okay, into a mixed number and a fraction greater than 1. And for practice problem 3, I'd like you to solve this addition problem, but pay close attention to the sum that you get here, because it's going to be a fraction greater than 1, and I want you to convert it into a mixed number on this side. So once again, what we did together is we answered 2 questions. We answered how can we write fractions greater than 1 as mixed numbers, and how can we write mixed numbers as fractions greater than 1.